Hey everyone, it's Nat.
And Gerald.
Welcome back to another episode of the Work It Podcast. This episode is brought to you by UOB. Now, Gerald, when I started working, I realized my parents were always jumping whenever they hear that I'm going for a job interview. Because I have been in a few places over the short span of my career so far. And they like to say, wow, why you changed job again? You just changed job recently, now you changed again. Like, what are you doing?
But isn't it like the norm, right? For like people your age, right? When you're working, like the average tenure is quite short.
Yeah, but in my parents' opinion, it was like you just find one good solid gig and you stick to that and you're set for life.
Okay,
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I see where they're coming from actually. Because maybe from their time, they sound really old now, right? But I mean, not too long ago. So I think many people would prefer to be comfortable, staying on in a job for a period of time. And sometimes, when change comes along, it becomes really very difficult to manage. Yeah, but, as things go about changing, technology changes, economic changes, sometimes within these changes, there are opportunities. So I think the real tricky part here is how comfortable should I be?
Right.
If there's no push factor, why not just stay, right? But if I don't go out, what if there's something better out there? And we'll never really know, right? Unless we, put some feelers out there.
Yeah, and then there's always the chance you might miss those wonderful golden opportunities that could take you somewhere else where you never even dreamed of being.
Yes, in my work, I always see people struggle with change. They always worried that they cannot make it. They can't make the change, especially when they are a certain age. So it's really important for us to, to start to investigate a little bit more about like what exactly happens when someone goes through a transition, and are there limits? What are some of the things to look out for to make the change worthwhile?
Right. Well, we are in luck because we're going to speak to someone today who actually went through a little bit of a change recently. Our guest was thriving in personal financial services at UOB, experienced and respected, but instead of staying put, he made a strategic pivot. Through the bank's Better You Pivot program, he took a leap into the growing space and is now vice president of the private banking commercial office.
Wow, well, that's amazing. A good change.
It is, yeah, exactly. So let's hear more from our guest. Welcome, Ivan Au.
Hi guys, thanks for having me here.
Why did you decide to take on a new challenge in private banking marketing?
Okay, it's kind of a story goes that where I actually with the bank for about 16 years. So that's quite a long time. And it comes to a point where I feel I need a bit of a stretch, a little bit of getting out of my comfort zone, in order for me to see more growth, in terms of my career. So that's why when the opportunity came in terms of the bank's UOB Better You Pivot program, right? So I took the opportunity and I actually did the switch.
I think we are very interested to know like how the decision to make that change even started, because it's so difficult, right? For so many people, it's like there's so many thoughts, the opportunity cost, that reputation you built for so many years already in your team, and now you're leaving that behind.
Yeah, it's true because I mean that thought is also the part that holds you back, right? Because you have established yourself, so you kind of like a guru in the space and place where you are at. But at the same time, you do need to take a closer look at what you really want out of your own career. You can stay, and continue doing what you're doing, and I love what I'm doing for the last 10 years. But at the same time, I'm also asking myself the question, do I have more to offer?
Yeah, I think I picked that up when he was talking about offering more. I think it sounds like the motivation to change actually comes from you wanting to do more, like to grow, to give back to the company, to help the company a lot more, right? I hear that from what you're sharing. And this sense of growth, some people are like, do so much for what? I'm not paid to do so much, right? Most
Some
people have
people
that
are
mindset.
content
Yeah.
with just doing what they are supposed to do.
Or
right?
doing what their bosses tell them to do.
Yeah.
Right? If my boss asks me to do it, then I will change. I have no choice, then I will change. But what we are hearing from Ivan is, you know what? I should be in charge. I should kind of figure out what I want, and what I want should have some benefit to my company as well. I think there must be some cross. I think that's very admirable.
So when you first brought up to your colleagues, your teammates, your boss, that you wanted to try something new, how did they react to that?
Actually, they were quite surprised because I've been in my previous role for as long as everyone can remember, right? So but I think at the same time, they also kind of can understand, and they also feel that Ivan probably can go on and do something more. Actually, it was my previous boss that gave me the encouragement, because when I look at the job that was posted at private bank at that time, right, I feel very interested in the role, and there's a lot of kind of like synergy between what I was doing in my previous role and what they're looking for in the new guy. But then the part that hold me back was like, I want to change, but is this change like too big of a leap forward?
Drastic.
Yeah, because I'm switching from PFS, right, personal financial services, from mass banking, then all the way up to private banking, which happens to be the higher segment.
What made you decide that, okay, yes, I think I will go for this, despite it being very, very different and being very uncertain?
I think what helps is when I went for the interview with the hirer, right, who is the head of private bank commercial banking. So he shared more about the role and what kind of so-called person that he is actually looking to hire. What are the skill sets that he require to perform the role. And after I went for the interview, my confidence level actually rise from like 50% to 80%.
Okay.
So I feel there were quite a few skill sets, where the things that I pick up in my previous role that I can apply for my new role. But then because it was quite a big jump, you see, so I didn't have that confidence level that I could get the role.
Until you heard it straight from the horse's mouth, right? Or the horse's mouth, lah, in a sense. So someone affirmed your qualities and is saying that, these are things that they will need, and that gave you the confidence, lah.
Yeah, that's true.
So it was from there that you went into the Better You Pivot program. Like that was the, I guess, the transition from your previous role to this new role. How did that go for you? Like, what was the day-to-day like in that program? Were you already working, or was it like a training period?
I was already working, so when I did the switch, right, you kind of need to do a reset. You have to start with a new, higher mindset. And I think for me the program helps a lot, because I was quite surprised actually. When I participated in the program, I thought it's just going to be, they're just going to send you for a few standard courses, and you get some product training, and okay, there you go. You are ready to be a private banker, right?
Right.
But actually, it's very different from my expectation. I was very surprised when I was given the training program, and when they share with me that career coach will be assigned to me to help with my transition. Then I was thinking, but I have a supervisor, why do I need a career coach, right? And I feel like a bit odd. But as I participated in the program, right, then I realized it's actually a master stroke that they actually have a career coach. Because when you switch to a new role, right, like one of the things that you kind of like taboo to say to your boss is like, I don't know how to do this, right? And your boss will be having some confidence crisis, right? Did I hire the right person?
Yeah.
So I think it's really good that we have someone who is an external party, someone who can gives you offers you that safe space, so you can kind of like air your thoughts that, hey, look, I think I need some help.
Right. So the coaches are like a neutral party that you can kind of confide in
Yes.
and ask questions for the new role.
Yes.
What was the interaction with the coach like?
I would say it's very open, very supportive session. Very therapeutic as well.
Oh, okay.
for me, because you kind of like have of someone that you can rely on, right? You know that this person you can count on, and the reason why this person is assigned to you is to help with the transition. And the interesting thing is, it's not just assigned to you, but the same coach, right, is also assigned to your manager,
Oh, okay.
your supervisor.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because supervisor, I think they also need some help, right?
That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, it's like a bridging. You need to kind of bridge expectations between both sides. I think I recall doing this for undergraduates, interns, and internship supervisors. Is there an example of something that happened where you could see this coach being like really, really important in helping you and your supervisor?
What I really appreciate is that at the beginning of the session, right, they don't come in to say, look, I'm the expert. You take my advice. This is what you should do. But they actually took the time to understand what was my past experiences. What are my strengths and what are my key weaknesses. Things that I need. In order to do my job better. And they don't just hear from my side of the story. They also hear from my supervisor, what do you think are the skill sets, that, Ivan needs, in order to perform these various functions.
Right.
And over the course of the sessions that I attended, right, it's not just one or two sessions. It's actually very progressive over a year.
Oh.
And there's a lot of different training sessions that's been so-called assigned, through the online courses, and some are classes that I attended, in order to help me ease over the transition, and really, really helps.
In this 1 year, what was the project or experiment that you are most proud of having accomplished during the program?
There's this AI, which is AI tools that's really central in terms of I would say the entire program. We have these Microsoft tools, right, that's called Copilot. So how it works is basically like ChatGPT, right? You can use natural language. You just key in a command, a prompt, and it actually can give you certain outputs, depending on what you need. So there was a lot of courses central around it to help us actually key in certain query that can help us so-called in terms of our work productivity, right?
Right.
So I find that very, very useful. Because like, imagine they assign a super intern to you, right? That basically can do everything, for you, But everyone wish for that, but we don't have the budget, right? We don't have budget for that, right? But this is an intern that works 24/7 for you, and you can ask the same prompt over and over again, and it won't get angry.
That's very cool. That's actually very interesting. Okay.
Yeah, and you're not afraid to ask silly questions, because sometimes that holds you back, right?
Yes.
Yeah, from learning, right? Especially if you are in a new role, and you really need to ask a lot of questions. But I think that's one of the key tools I feel that is really, really helpful in terms of helping me transit, during that 1 year.
How long has it been since you've graduated from the program?
Actually, I'm almost graduating.
Oh,
from
okay.
the program.
Almost graduating. Well, congratulations in
Thank
advance.
you.
When was it that you realized that you were kind of filling in the shoes for the role that you had your eye on at the start? Like, when did you realize that you were doing it and you were actually meant for this, and everything was coming into place?
Things started falling into places the last couple of months, because I can sense, and my supervisor has also shared with me that she feels more comfortable and more confident that I can do it alone, So I'm actually spearheading a number of projects, instead of previously when I first joined, she kind of like need to handhold me a bit because I'm so new, right?
Yeah.
The last couple of months, I've been quite heavily involved in quite a number of key projects, for private bank, helping them to actually, move the business to another level, by using digital tools, right? Like Gen AI, for example.
When you were looking at the first few months versus the last couple of months where you say you're starting to get more comfortable in the role, what was the biggest difference that you saw in yourself that changed?
I think it was the confidence level. The first couple of months, I was really, really lost, to be very honest.
You think about going back?
No, I don't regret the move, but I was thinking, because am I at too deep end of the pool, When I made the switch, right, I feel there's something that always drives me is that I think you need to have a kind of mission mind frame when it comes to doing something, right? And I feel you can get better, more from yourself, when you have that kind of mindset. So for me, I feel that when I switch from PFS, to private bank, right, something that I tell myself, right, is that I'm probably the first, to make such a switch, all the way from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum. And I tell myself that, I'm the first one, I don't malu, and I have a lot of other talented colleagues in PFS, right? I don't want to be the first person to open the door and also the last person to close the door.
You don't want to set a bad example for
I don't want to, because I want to showcase that there are a lot of talents within the bank. I have worked with a lot of amazing talents in PFS during my last 16 years. So I hope that, me being the first.
A trailblazer.
A trailblazer.
The first, yeah.
I hope I can set more examples, for that people might be interested, if they want to build a career in private bank, right?
Yeah. Well, hopefully in a couple months or whenever you finish the program, you can put Trailblazer on your LinkedIn hit.
I'm sure all your PFS colleagues are knocking on the door like, hey, how did you do it? They will ask you for some tips, right?
Actually, you're right,
I'm sure.
Over the past 12 months, I get so many messages, asking me, hey, look, Ivan, you remember?
All of them sense checking also. Can I do this also?
Now that you've gone through the whole process, you are at a better place to also give some advice or some perspectives to help them also consider their own situation, right? Ivan, if there is one thing that you want advice that you will give to anyone out there who's considering to make a big career change, right? What advice would you give to them?
A lot of times, I think people, they wanted to wait for the perfect timing. I think I have that same issue, which is why I was in my previous role for like 16 years, right? Although there was a lot of changes in terms of the portfolio I was managing. But it was always like, okay, I think this year is not the right time, maybe next year. And then next year, and then next year.
And then become many, many, many years.
many years. So I feel if I look back at my career, one thing I love what I was doing before. I was very, very passionate about it. But I think if one thing I would change is that I wouldn't wait so long, to make the switch. Don't wait for the perfect timing.
Make the perfect timing.
You make the perfect timing.
Okay, nice. Yeah. That's a very, very action-oriented statement. Don't wait for too long. Don't wait at all. If you need to do it, do it today.
I'm sure that this switch actually took a lot of learning. You had to pick up a lot of skills to be able to perform at your role. How do you ensure that in the future, if you do have to switch again, you are sufficiently up to date, you are keeping up with all the skills that are required of you? Are you constantly looking out for new skills to pick up?
For myself, I feel AI has become something which is very indispensable in our work. I can't imagine a world without AI tools. So I feel that in terms of upgrading ourselves, right, I think one place to start, besides the internal courses, that your company may offer you or the bank may offer you, right, there's also external sources that is available, like, YouTube. YouTube is, you can ask my wife, every night I'll be watching YouTube. But I think there are a lot of skills that you can pick up from there and for free. And I feel that kind of investment can only comes from your own initiative. That you want to improve yourself, not because there's a compulsory course that the bank asks you to attend and then you wait again for the timing and then you go for the course. And I feel a lot of self-initiative is required for you to acquire new skills. And it's not about, okay, if I don't acquire the skill, if I acquire the skill, does it mean that then the bank will pay me better, or can I get a better job? It's not about that kind of question, but it's more about self improvement, And I think that's very important mindset to have, I feel.
It's a growth mindset, and I can certainly see it in you. Even coming to the graduation point, you're still thinking about what's next to learn, what's next to grow in, right? So because the growth never stops.
Yeah, that's very true. So I enjoy it also because when I went to the classes, I attended recently 2 courses with SMU, and I was so inspired, by the lecturer. So although the class was held at 7:30 p.m., all the way till 10:30 p.m., right?
Wow.
Yeah, and the guy was like so passionate and so energetic, and it goes the same goes for my other classmate that I was attending with, and I think it really changes your mind, like when you try something new, right, and then you start receiving back also, the energy from other participants in the class, from the lecturer, and I think it changes you. And I feel that's something that we, in order for you to receive, you must first take action.
Well, Ivan, it's nice to see the changed you. Looking forward to when you complete this program and become the better or best version of yourself in this role.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for listening as well. If you have a work-related question, you can always write to us. We are at cnapodcasts@mediacorp.com.sg. We are also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Me Listen, and YouTube, where a video version of this podcast is at. The team behind this Work It podcast is Ho Peining, Junaini Johari, Joanne Chan, Tiffany Ang, Alison Jenner, and the video is by Hanida Amin and Justin Garnell. I'm Nat.
I'm Gerald, and this Work It episode was brought to you by UOB.